Okay, Robert, in our previous episode of Real Estate Chat, we talked about how prices were actually edging up. However, a report from RBC Economics focused on Canadian housing says that more sellers and fewer buyers are actually taking pressure off of housing prices. Which one of these is true?
It's the first day of the rest of your life, and it's not enough time to establish the trend. So again, there's always a lag and there's always early adopters, just like in anything else. In this case, this fella is being very diligent, Mr. Hogue. He was very good in giving us that lineup, all the previous peaks at 100. Trying to work with statistics that are given to him in advance through the Canadian Real Estate Association before their regular, the preliminary results, before they regularly put it together and put it out on the 15th of the month. So he has to work with seasonally adjusted data. Now, seasonally adjusted data means there was never a September like this, but this is a September that we're comparing it to. And we're comparing what actually happened preliminarily to the seasonally adjustment, and you're supposed to accept it as true. For example, he's got a whole chart in here that shows supply-demand conditions, which is our famous, it's like, that's it, supply-demand condition. Estimated sales to new listings ratio, seasonally adjusted September. Shows it for Vancouver at 41%, Fraser Valley 41%, Calgary, we know it's hot, 77%, Edmonton at 65%, Toronto at 38%. Now, and then Montreal at 59%. So it means that 38% of the listings, of the new listings, are being absorbed by sales every month, which he's using the 40-60 as balanced. And we talked about this in a previous time of, if we subtract our do-overs from the new listings as they're reported, we get with a number that's pretty close to 38%. And so it's just barely nudging into buyer's market situation. So this, it's like 6 wrongs can make a right. So I agree with him wholeheartedly that the real sales to listing ratio in Toronto is 38%, except it's supposed to be 51%. So he's missing the whole point. The average is not seasonally adjusted. The average is what the average is. 38% is still a lot less than 51%. So inventories, he's looking at all these things come out, preliminary, seasonally adjusted, annual percentage change, all this stuff. Like, nobody lives like that. Nobody lives like that. You can't make adjustments that, anyway. So he's got some good, frustrated by low inventories earlier this year. Yes, buyers now have more options, but they're not, because they don't want to pay the rate. They don't want to pay the price and the interest rate. They want one or the other. That's why we heard about people in Quebec who are going, okay, I'll pay you the price if you let me take over your mortgage, which is at 3% less than what I can get today. So it's everything at once. And if you have more than 2 factors at once, you can't reliably say which one's going to be more dominant that particular month. So when you've got sales 40% below where they normally are, sales to listing ratio below where it should be, the number of listings net below what should be, it's a muddle through market. So what are you doing on muddle through? You do the bare minimum. You do what you got to do, and you do nothing about what you don't have to do. So that's what you're seeing. Sometimes this, sometimes that. In this great Toronto Metroplex, if there's a grand total of 18,500 properties for sale actively, and there's less than 5,000 sales, there's a lot of things that are attempting, the number of listings attempting to be done, but only some of them that are being achieved. So you got 4 times as many, 4 months of inventory. So you've got 3 times as many listings as you have sales. So everybody's trying to find out. We'll see, shall I rent it? If I can't get that price, I'm going to put in a basement apartment. I'm going, if I can't live there any longer because the mortgage is up here, I'm going to sell. All these people are coming to the crushing point. We heard about the trigger for the first mortgages that went up, and they started extending amortization. We never expected that to happen. Just like in 2008, all kinds of things happened. They gave away money during the TARP and all this stuff in the United States. And we had COVID here, and they gave away money to everybody, $2,000 a month for everybody for the longest time. It upset the whole balance. So then they stimulate with interest rates are ridiculously too low. Everybody bought a house with the free money. So you got umpteen factors all at play. So congratulations to the economist from the Royal Bank who's trying to find a way to make it make sense. And he'll even say it doesn't make any sense because it cannot.
Well, so then how do we make sense of it for our real estate chat viewers? Because, they're getting inundated and slammed basically with all of these statistics, all of these headlines, all of these videos that they're watching.
You got bad news bears and you got the good news stories. So you're quite right to press me on that. What is the news? And the news is this: you got 5 groups: first-time buyers, last-time sellers, investor who is underwater right now if he sold, investor who is in good shape if you wanted to sell right now, and then you got the trade up buyer. So which ones of those are active? First time buyers are scared. Last time sellers are scared. Trade up buyers, they're having a good look. If I can get what I want for my place, then okay, I'll buy that. But I don't see anything that good. I'm not in a panic. Investor who's underwater saying, how can I hang on? Guy who's not underwater, who's in the money, says, well, it's paying now. I'll just let's see. So everybody's hanging on waiting. So there's no urgency. Everybody's waiting.
Could that be the
category
reason?
Do you fall into?
Well, Robert, is what exactly you said there is right on, because could that be the reason why we're seeing as many inventory pop up? Because remember, a few months ago, we saw the inventory sort of shift, but not to the degree that we saw it in September. But at the same time that shift happened, the sales have just plummeted. So sales that happened in previous episode, you said sales that have to happen or people who have to move will move. Where does this bring us between now and the end of the year?
Okay, well, until you got to wait for something to happen. What you're going to start hearing is about people who, remember, we heard about the guy who couldn't close the deal because he couldn't get an appraisal, he couldn't get a mortgage. So what happened to that guy? You want to hear what happened to him? There's people who are not being able to close on their condo that was a pre-sale, and now it's coming up to occupancy, and they got to come up with more deposit, and it's coming up to real closing, and they can't do it. So they want to get rid of it and get whatever money they can back on assignment. So when you find someone who's losing their house because the mortgage company is actually repossessing it, if it's a major lender, they'll do power of sale, which gives the person all kinds of opportunity, 6 months, more time than that, to try and redeem it. But sometimes, if they bought it up here and then the value is here and they got a mortgage to just 95% of that, they got no equity in there, and then they put a second mortgage on there at 18%. They got no money. So wait till you hear some real bad stories before you worry about it.
All right, and you might hear them here first. So make sure you subscribe to Real Estate Chat. Click on like if you like this episode. Make sure you leave in the comments what you're feeling about the market. Is the pressure being taken off, or is there more pressure being tacked on? Thanks for watching this episode of Real Estate Chat. Take care and bye for now.
See you later.